Well, it's a very good evening live from our studios here in Randburg. It's Friday night. It's Sports Talk with Zeca Marques, and tonight we've got a very interesting topic to discuss. I think it goes hand in hand with the last topic that we mentioned about mental health. Tonight is about wellness, nutrition, and a very special guest, someone who's really passionate about what he does, and you'll hear it as we unpack this conversation. Tony Pinheiro, good evening. Welcome to the show. I hope that you've had a great day. It's been an awesome Friday. Welcome.
Thanks, Zeca. Thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to having a nice chat and just talk about it.
So tell me about wellness. I know it's the latest trend topic, especially when it comes to mental health, drinking the wrong things. Wellness coaching is becoming a trend. Is it becoming a trend because it's trendy or a necessity? What is wellness?
Well, you're going to have two sides of wellness. You're going to have the person that's focusing on getting to lose that weight for the December holidays. They want to lose weight.
That time of the month, eh?
So now they go to gym. They haven't been in gym for winter, but now they've gone to gym because now they will need to lose weight.
And that beach body?
The beach body, so they're working on that. And then you've got the other aspect of wellness, which is about giving your body what it needs to look after itself. And if you create new habits and lifestyle, then you're in control, and it's not another diet you're going to try. It's all about having balance, everything we do, but knowing what you're doing, what not to do, what to stay away from, and to create those habits. So wellness, very, very important.
Now, I know you're very passionate about it because we discuss this on a regular basis. I pick it up in your voice. I pick it up the way you come across. Passion is what you like to convey. However, how did your journey into this wellness industry come about?
So, things happen in life the way they're meant to happen. And my wife wanted to get into shape, lose some weight, and she started getting great results, having someone coach her to lose the weight that she wanted. And she finally got me to see the bigger picture. And for me, the bigger picture, because I've never had a problem with weight, I thought I was healthy, but I was having all the wrong things. I was eating lots of junk food, no breakfast, no water, lots of energy drinks, and I thought I was healthy because I wasn't overweight. And people think that if you're overweight, you're unhealthy, but if you're skinny, you're healthy, and it's not the case. So my cholesterol's high. Anyway, I got to change my lifestyle, got to change my eating habits, and I fell in love with actually getting to empower people. I was working in Tembisa at that time, and I remember very clearly that I used to see what people were eating, and it was all the junk food, all the takeaways, the cheapest and the cheapest meal.
It's cheapest meal, yeah.
The loaf. It was all cheap things, and it all contributed to the health. So I said, what if I help these people to empower them to change their eating habits and their lifestyle, and at the same time empower them to take control of their financial situations. The saying, teach people how to fish, don't fish for them. So I was teaching people how to take control of their lives through their health first and then financial afterwards.
And I know people are they worry about their financial aspects. They don't earn big salaries. And you spoke about the quick fix. Now, the quick fix sometimes is not the solution. What other options are there when you're on a very low budget and you have to make the right decisions? What do you do?
When I start helping people, it's always understanding where they are, what are they having. So sometimes you think they can't afford, that's why they're eating junk food. No, it's a decision. So they're having junk food, but they're drinking beer. And so at the end of the day, how much are they spending every day on things? Sometimes not food, it's alcohol. Sometimes it's not alcohol, it's smoking. So there's other priorities. So for me, it's about getting to understand where people are, importance of wellness, being healthy, and showing them a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So showing them, this is how we can, one step at a time, let's get one meal right. Let's get a result. Let's get you to believe in what you're having. And then if you can get a customer to help that person, you can earn a living. So it all starts with one person at a time, and get to understand where they are. What are their goals? Sometimes they want to lose weight, but in actual fact, they're not sleeping enough. They on heavy medication. They are the wheels are coming off.
Yeah.
So and mental health. We spoke about it. People at the moment, it's called lost in translation. You're completely lost. So it's taking person on this journey.
Now, it's interesting you say that. I love a burger on a regular basis. Not often, but it just tastes nice. Those fatty foods taste nice. It's the taste that gives you. And it's also comfort. And it fills you up. And people think that, oh, I'm full, I'm okay, because they're eating to fill up the stomach. How difficult is it to change from those foods that taste so nice but aren't actually healthy for you? How difficult is it? And what should a person be looking at in changing? What is the process? Because it's very difficult to say, listen, stop eating this. Well, if I love this, it's like you asking me to stop eating chocolate. It's not going to happen. I must come up with an idea.
You'll get the chocolates, you hide them away.
Hide them
You're
away.
Still having them.
I'm still having them. How do you get through to people to start changing? Because it's habits, but the taste buds is the key here. How do you get that?
It's one of the biggest problems in the world. It's called sugar. And so all the junk food, all the food that we're eating, fast food, it's very high in sugars because of taste. But does it have nutrition? No, it doesn't. So you have a meal, it tastes great. The problem is no nutrition value, zero. And an hour later, your insulin levels spike again because a lot of sugar. And you're going to want to eat something else again. It doesn't fill you. So the focus is on taking person on a journey, not saying to stop. Let's cut back. I'll give you an example. I'm going to have a burger tonight. And if you're on that path of getting healthier, you say, okay, so tonight when you order your burger, let's play a different game. And you say, like what? Instead of ordering your burger with chips, how about ordering your burger with salad? And if you want to take it to the next level, take out the bread. Don't have the bread. Have the patty and have the salad. So now you're having a burger, but you're not having the bread. Because bread's gluten. Lots of people are gluten intolerant. So wheat doesn't contribute zero to nutrition. It's about making those choices, but you're still eating the burger because if I say don't eat it, it's a diet mentality. You can't, you won't. It's all negative words, negative vibrations. So we want to change people's mindset towards, I want to be healthier. And then there's this misconception that eat healthy, it's not tasty. No, it is tasty. You just need to know how to cook healthy meals. So it's all about balance and taking person one step at a time. So my focus is like on 90 days. Let's change over the next 90 days to create new habits so that you'll have control of your weight forever. You're healthier. You've maintained your muscle mass. You've dropped body fat. And you're exercising. And you're sleeping enough. And it's all about balance. Everything in life's about balance. When you do too much of one thing, too little of the other, it's not balanced. You've got to have balance.
It's interesting. You and I, we both Portuguese. We're Mediterranean. The Mediterranean meal is known worldwide as being the healthiest. Why is that?
There's the healthy and unhealthy of our Portuguese food. So the unhealthy
So
part
the Mediterranean, just for the listeners, it's the Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Greek, and the French.
Yeah.
So it's that's the Mediterranean. What makes it special as far as nutrition is concerned?
It's all the including what do they cook with? Olive oil, garlic, very few sauces, a lemon, they call it in Portuguese temperar. To
spice it up.
To spice it up. Piri piri, obviously we're known for the piri piri. It's all about that's what we do. We don't go the sauce route because the sauces, that's where all the sugars are. So we've always had the healthy option, but the other side to that is we also have a lot of bread. So we have our bread before the meal arrives. And the idea with bread is that it keeps you hungry all the time. So what I normally do, if you
does it keep you hungry all the time?
It keeps you hungry. So that's why the restaurants give you bread in the beginning, because it keeps you wanting to eat more, to stay at the restaurant longer. That's why the bread always
I thought they were just being nice.
No, they're trying to be nice, but they know what's the bottom line. There's always a bottom line.
Okay.
You know, so the bread, I never have the bread. You know, when and yet I want to give the biggest tip if I can.
Yeah, of course. That's what we are
If
for.
we go to a restaurant and I want to enjoy my Portuguese food, today I'm going to go to lunch with my father-in-law for lunch. It's about everything about in moderation and balance. I'll have a nutritional shake that I have like an hour before I go to the restaurant, which means when I go to the restaurant, I'm not starving. And traditionally, I'm going to that restaurant, it's so nice. You starve yourself so that you maximize the experience and you overeat.
Because you're paying as well.
You're paying.
So
I'm going to make the most of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm going to have the bread that they give me. I'm going to have the alcohol. I'm going to have the dessert.
All the free stuff.
Everything. I'm going to go for it. What I do is an hour before I have a meal, a shake, quick on the go, lots of protein. When I go to the restaurant, I'm going to eat, but I'm going to eat less. And so it's all about portion control. The less you eat, but you're still satisfied, you're still enjoying the meal. And then, because I'm not starving, I don't have to have the dessert. Or if I do have the dessert, I can have a little bit of it. I'm having the taste of the sugar in the dessert. I can. It's all about lifestyle. But I'm not having the whole
portion.
and seconds and
Yes.
thirds and more and
Yes.
more. That's one
Yeah.
of the biggest.
It's interesting you talk about the bread. Yesterday I met a friend of mine, he's Greek, and we met at a restaurant in Bedford View, a Greek restaurant in Bedford View, and we were sitting there and we were chatting, and he ordered a nice Greek meal, which I was actually quite surprised, 2 tomatoes, full tomatoes, and when it arrived, I could see it was baked, and I said to him, Panos, 2 tomatoes for a lunch. He says, no, but it's stuffed with meat. It's stuffed, so it was stuffed with meat. So I'm like, oh, interesting. But before that, he went and bought himself, because the Greek restaurant, they didn't bring bread. He went and bought himself, because it was a delicatessen, a nice little portion of bread. And he was just eating that bread. And that's so typical Mediterranean.
No, bread is my downfall. You know, bread, and I know it. So it's all about control, mental control. And it's about, I like it, I want it, but I don't have to have the whole meal. It's about just have a little bit, because then you get away from diet mentality. You're getting, listen, this is part of eating out. I'm eating it because I can, because I've made healthier choices. It allows me to have the bread, and it won't affect at all my nutrition.
Now tell me, in the working environment, sometimes it's so difficult because you're working and you're having a lunch, or you're snacking. And what do you snack? Packet of chips, all the junk stuff. How difficult is it in the corporate world to eat healthy? Or what should you be looking at doing? So at least when you go to work, you have a plan of nutrition. So when you're snacking, you're taking the right snacks. You're not going to the canteen and buying a packet of chips, because now you're peckish and you want that salty flavor, the spicy. And oh, by the way, give me one of those drinks, the fizzy drinks. So it's all the wrong stuff, and that's what you do on a daily basis. What suggestions do you give for people that from home, what should they pack in a little bag?
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it, if we go back to our school days, we used to have our lunchbox, right?
Yes.
So obviously we used to have our lunch, our sandwiches, to take it to school. That's what we had.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if you were lucky, your parents would give you some money, go to order a burger at school. I didn't have that luxury. I had a lunchbox, I had some fruit, I had a sandwich, that was what I ate. And people now, going to corporate, you need to prepare your day. Like you prepare your meetings, you know that tomorrow you're having these meetings, you've got to prepare your meals the day before. And for a lot of people, they can't do that because it's difficult to do. They don't have time. So what I try and do as a wellness coach...
That is subjective, Tony. I don't have time.
No, that's an excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse. Because you plan your day.
No, it's an excuse.
How long does it take to put a little pack together if you're planning your day? And we'll get to it just now. It's about self-care. So this thing of, I don't have time. Well, but you have time to buy the wrong stuff.
No, it's all excuses. And all excuses are equal, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's about planning your day, knowing what your body needs, knowing that your body needs a lot of protein, knowing that you've got to be eating at certain times, and you've got to be eating at the right times all the time. You can't skip meals and eat meals at the wrong time. Your body wants routine. You need to be consistent like anything in life, and your food is exactly the same. So if you take the food and you look at it, it's got all the nutrients. That's why for me, a meal on the go, a smoothie, it gives my body what it needs, and then I take some protein snacks with me. So I've got my smoothie that I can take on the road. It's convenient. So for me, a lot of people that help, what they like is the convenience. And because it's tasty and they're getting healthy and they're feeling better, the weight happens. But they're chasing, I feel better. I'm starting to, my mood's changing, my energy is changing. I'm more productive. I'm more alert. I'm more positive.
Would you say it's called instant gratification because you feel good? A little snack, you feel good?
It's not, when you're healthier, it's not instant gratification. But so for me, let's focus on the long-term goal. So if you say to me, Tony, I want to lose weight. Yeah, but how would you feel to be in the best shape of your life? How would you feel going on holiday and being healthy and having all that energy? How would you feel? So I always focus on the end goal, on feeling, not results, because weight comes and goes. It's about transformation. Yeah and yeah. So, and you need to change. If you take that to work and you've got your water in front of you in your office and you've got your snack, you're actually going to save on money because you're not buying. If you add up everything that you eat throughout the day, the petrol station, the pie, and the chips, and the cold drink, and the coffee on the go, when you add up all that money, you're spending a fortune on junk.
Now, how important does eating properly affect concentration and performance at work?
Yeah, I like this analogy that I use, Zeca. I use this all the time. It's the same with our car. If you don't service your car, if you don't change the oil and the filters and check the oil and the gauge and check and do the service, why do we do service on our cars? Right? It's the same thing with our bodies. If your body doesn't get what it needs, your body starts over time. It's an amazing machine we have, but it breaks down sooner or later. So it's so important to give nutrients to feed your body. And like protein is a big thing because protein, your body doesn't produce protein. You got to give it protein. So it's all about putting nutrition. I call it petrol in your tank. And if you got petrol in your tank, your energy goes up. If your sugar levels don't spike, they're in the fat burning zone, your energy is under control. You got more energy. Your mood changes. Everything, your sleep pattern changes. For a lot of people, a biggest problem at the moment, people don't have enough sleep. They're not sleeping enough hours, and sleep is when the recovery happens.
Is the 8 hours concept apply? 8 hours is not enough, or it's just they're waking up too early to get to work because of the traffic?
Yeah, listen, focus on the 8 hours is it's a good gauge. It's a good gauge. I mean, I don't sleep 8 hours. I do 6-7 hours. But do you have quality sleep? What people are, they're not. Most people I speak, they're on sleeping tablets. They on medication for stress, for mental health. Lots of medication there. So if you're not having rest, how does your body recover, rejuvenate for the next morning? That's why most people, what do they do the first thing? Cup of coffee. Why? Because they're tired. Why are they tired? Because of what happened the day before. So what happens today is a reflection of what happened yesterday, always. So if you start off the day with a cup of coffee, you're already on deficit. Your body wants nutrition, now you're giving it coffee. Your body says, no, come on, I want food. How am I supposed to look after you when you're feeding me junk food, coffee, lots of them, because you're tired. I'm tired because you don't give, there's no petrol in the tank. You need nutrients. You need to, and I put vitamins in the mind and vitamins in your body. I mean, you need it. You need it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And obviously, nutrition, the body is important, but how important is it for the brain?
It's called brain development. Your brain, everything that you act, the people you hang around with, your lifestyle, your community, impact your brain. And then the worst part, it's social media at the moment. So everybody's stuck on their phones. What do they plant in their mind? Trying to compare with this one, with that one, see how many likes I get. Their brain is underdeveloped. They're not educating themselves. They're not empowering themselves. So the brain takes big knock, and then the brain doesn't get nutrition because everything that happens in here feeds here. So if your body doesn't have what it needs, you start lacking in a different area. So all the health challenges people have, through life, it's all got to do with lifestyle. Everything. So when you say, oh, but my parents struggle with this and I'm going to have this, no. It's called their family is brought up in a different culture. They ate certain things like we did with Portuguese. It's a culture that you can continue to have unless you become the person, like I became the person in my generation, to change. So now my kids always have a healthy meal, the smoothie before they go to college. We always have water in the fridge. We don't have energy drinks. We eat healthy, and protein is the part of things.
It's interesting you say my family, because not only are we impacting ourselves negatively by eating the wrong things, but we're impacting our kids negatively.
Big time.
For the future. So, and I agree with you, because I know my kids don't drink, they only drink water, and they're young kids. They're in their 30s. They only drink water. My daughter will occasionally have a glass of wine. My son, only water. Doesn't touch any alcohol whatsoever. And I'm looking at some of the younger generations are going that route of they're starting to realize that water is key. And you spoke earlier on about moods. Now, in the working environment, Tony, sometimes the environment is toxic. People don't get on with each other. The characters just don't gel. And do you think that nutrition, and you mentioned earlier on, because it affects your mood, plays a role?
So much. Like in so many ways. It's not just what you put in your mouth. Is that cellular level. Nutrition goes into your cells. Once you start feeling better, looking better, and you're a percentage of the people you hang around with. So if you go into the office and the office is toxic, sooner or later you're going to become like them. If you allow it. If you're aware of where you are with your energies, you know that the office is low vibrations and you're feeling better and you're positive and you're happy, and they're not. Okay? How do we distance ourselves? It's about hanging around the right community. So for me, as a coach, I always try and create an environment of where people feel safe, people are empowering, motivating, positive talk, no negative language. And unfortunately in corporate, that's what happens. My manager won't teach me everything he knows because I might get his job. So it's always limited. There's always
the fear.
Everybody operates in fear. And when you operate in fear, your immune system is very weak, very low. And so you get sick often. I haven't been sick in years. Why? Because my immune system is strong. Why? Because I'm having good nutrition. And then my mental space is also healthy because I hang around positive people. People that empower me. I hang around Zeca Marques because I want to be like a Zeca Marques.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you. You'll be invited for the next show. Thank you. But listen, what about peer pressure at work? So imagine this. We 10 guys working in the office. 9 of them do all the wrong things. They have snacks. They have all the wrong things. Here I am. I walk in and I've got my little box here full with the right stuff. And they start saying, "But everyone, Tony, what's wrong with you? Why are you this?" That peer pressure. And all of a sudden we feel intimidated and we start aligning with them because we want to be part of them.
Yeah.
What should we be looking at doing? Should we be the example and say, "Yeah, hang on, guys, let me teach you a few things. Maybe you guys should rewire your brain and reboot your life differently and start looking at life differently and look at nutrition differently instead of taking all the wrong stuff, because you're going to pay the price later on."
Always. It's called VAT. You'll always pay the price. Even, you know it, if we played sport and you had a knee injury, later on, you're going to feel it, right? It's called VAT. You'll always pay the price. Always later on. So for me, when you're hanging around people like that, why you want to be healthier? So I want to be healthier. For example, I'm a dad, I'm a parent, right? I want to be healthy for my kids. And I want to be healthy for my grandkids because I'm 56 years young and I want to get to my 90s playing with my grandkids, being part of everything. So it's all about me. And then the right person that appreciates what I'm doing, they will support me. The people that don't support you, they're not willing to change. So it's easier to put you down and make fun of you than to support you. But you're always going to have some person, "I'm so proud of you, Zeca, keep going. Wow, I can see why you're doing it. It's always about the why. Why are you doing? Why you want to be healthier? I want to be healthy for my children. I want to be healthy for me. I want to, so once you know the why, everything else is irrelevant. It doesn't really count, and the people, you'll create a positive culture. And imagine this in corporate. I mean, I have this vision. Imagine going to corporate and through time, you impact your company in a positive way because of the light that you bring, the smile that you bring, the happiness, the positive self-talk that you bring. People will be attracted to your aura, your energies. And as a negative, you can also impact the positive. It's difficult because there's more negative than positives. It takes a lot of willpower. But if you know what you want, you go for it.
Do you think it's called self-esteem?
Absolutely, always.
If you believe in yourself and you care about yourself.
It's actually one of the biggest things, to love the person in the mirror. Because we always compare ourselves to people, especially on social media. We're comparing ourselves to people. Most of it's not even true, but you want to be like them. You want to have the likes, you want to have the followers, whatever. You're comparing. Do you love the person in the mirror? Because the minute you start loving you can love your family. If you can love your family, you can love your community. If you can love your community, you can make an impact, big time. What started you?
I want to bring up a topic. It's called alcohol. And I worked in the liquor industry for many years.
Me too.
Yeah. And I realized then the negative impact on alcohol when you abuse it. And I've got nothing against alcohol because I still like my drink. I think it's socially you should. It's just good as well. There's nothing wrong with alcohol. But it's the abuse of the substance that's the problem. And what I realized, and what is coming through now with a lot of my colleagues and friends, they're paying the price for overconsumption on alcohol. Some of them cirrhosis of the liver, others joints. Listen, the list is endless. And when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, in my young days, I abused my body. So abuse my body, you pay the price much later in life. And the interesting part is you pay the price through going to the doctors. If you don't look at yourself, if you don't take care of yourself now,
very expensive.
You pay the price much later. Well, you should be enjoying your money and retiring and traveling. You are imprisoned because you made the wrong decision when you were younger, and now you're spending all the money that you've made for retirement on doctors. How cruel is that? And how can we change their mindset?
Zeca, it all starts, we had a chat earlier on about it. It's all about, you can't, let's use an example. This weekend, Portugal's playing tonight. I'm going to be watching.
The Boks are playing tomorrow.
The Boks are playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sport happening this weekend. Yeah. And traditionally, we socialize and we have drinks. And the question is, how many drinks are you having? Why are you having? And a lot of it's about the socialization. You're socializing. And before you know it, people, I used to be like it. When I used to drink in my early teenage years, the more I drank, the more social and funny I was. I could talk to anybody.
Yeah, you lose.
You're not yourself.
Alcohol takes over. Yeah. You lose your inhibitions.
And unfortunately, you're taking alcohol to replace certain things that you're lacking. Confidence, you're lacking whatever. I only hang around these people, so they're drinking, I'm going to become like them. And before you know it, you've created this new habit in your life, and it becomes part of you. So for me, it's all about balance. Have a beer before you have the next beer. Maybe have a glass of water, especially people that I'm coaching. They want to be healthy. And I say to them, listen, weight and alcohol contributes a lot to the weight. Lots of it. And you're not your true self. Imagine being your true self, the person that you genuinely are, not influenced by anything else, but being you, enjoying life, but just everything in balance. Instead of having 6, have 2. You're still having the beer, you're still having the alcohol, everything in balance. The minute it's out of balance, it's not in proportion, becomes a problem, and then people become addicted to. The addiction comes in a lot of forms. Addiction to being alone, I need to be hanging around people. Addiction to food, addiction to alcohol, addiction to smoking, addiction to social media. There's a lot of addictions, so everything that's too much, it's out of balance, so everything's got to be in balance. Alcohol.
So when you talk about wellness, which is what you do, you try and bring an holistic balance to people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not too much, not too little. Enjoy life, but be sensible. I think the key word is sensibility now.
Yeah, and I try and get people away from the whole negative. It's a negative thing. It's a negative word. It's a negative everything. A diet. When you diet, depriving yourself, that's not a good thing. I've never met anybody ever. I've been a coach for 19 years. I've never met anybody that loved doing a diet. No one ever. But I know people that love the lifestyle that they've changed. So one day, 1% better. And after 100 days, 100% better. So 90 days, you get to change your habits. If you do it consistently for 90 days, 100 days, you will change habits. You will get to, most people will got to their goal weight, but they're healthy. And as we age, more importance of getting healthier as we age. This thing of, I speak to people my age all the time, Tony, but we in our 50s, I said, no, it's just a number, and you can't use your age as an excuse to where you are, because you can still change. You can still change when you're 60, when you're 17.
Yes,
you can still change. So using an excuse of age, I can't, because look at me, I'm 50s. Your metabolic slows down, yes. It's your job to invert it. So my job at the moment is to have my metabolic working faster, so I have quicker recovery, better results, because as the older we get, the more difficult it is to achieve those goals, to achieve the muscle gain, because we lose muscle as we age. So we have to have more muscle. We need to work out as we age, weights and things like that, because you're losing the muscle.
Funny enough, you say that, and I pay attention when I go to the gym. Lately, I've been going to the gym more often, and that's more to let me afford to eat what I want. It's to get that balance, because I don't want to stop eating certain things. I don't want to stop bread overnight. I love bread, but I'm not having a loaf anymore. I'm having a quarter.
Absolutely.
I don't have I can eat very easily a nice chocolate slab with whole nuts. Very easy. Once I open it, it must go. There's an expiry date, and it means now. So, but I've cut back. So now I'm starting to learn that I need to be a bit more moderate, but I work out more. And I'm starting to see that in the gym, there's more older people going to the gym. And it makes me happy, because at one stage, Tony, if you are old, you need to stop. There was like this mentality that you're old, you need to go on the couch and just sleep now and just go and rot away. But there's a new mindset with age. And I'm so glad you say that age is a number. So working or work out, and you don't have to go to the gym. You said to me on the way here that this 7 o'clock, you went and played tennis.
Yeah, so I go with tennis. I like doing walks. I do like a 5K walk, like an hour, and I like it because you're going back to nature.
But is it a walk at tortoise pace, or is it nice?
No, changing your pace. Yes. Then get too close to the road, but run over the road. Then fast pace, slow pace. Always changing your paces. But I call it vitamins of the mind. So when I'm exercising, walking, I'm in nature. We must always go back to nature, because that's where we can get grounded.
How important is it, seeing that we're talking about nature?
Very important. You need to. Even in the busy city, things like in your garden, take off your shoes, barefoot, be grounded, get connected, hug a tree, be connected to nature, because
what if a tree is all thorny?
And then just get those gloves of the braai and just. But
hug the right tree. Yeah.
For me, it's about balance, and then listening to. And there's something I wanted to mention. So I listen to podcasts. What do I listen to? I listen to things that motivate me, that helps me to become a better person in communication, in skills, in positivity, in language, in posture. So always put vitamins of the mind. And unfortunately, people go to work, they switch on the radio. What do they listen to?
All the bad news.
They listen to the news.
Bad news.
All the bad news. And then they get, unfortunately, the traffic is not a nice place. All people put in front of you. So you get affected by the energies. You're upset. You're angry. You get to the office. You're already in a bad place. So the two sides. A person that wakes up has a cup of coffee, has no nutrition, goes to work, switches on the radio, listens to the news, gets a taxi to go in front of him, gets a guy to pull in front of him, gets upset, does a bit of sweating, opens his window, gives him a sign here and there, gets to the office.
Road rage. He's on
Road
a high.
rage. He gets to the office, no smiling, upset. What does he talk about? The traffic problem.
All the negative
And
stuff.
so,
in his head.
and the problem is the traffic, the problem is the taxi, the problem is this. No, the problem is you. Okay? And I'm late because you woke up, whatever. And then a person that wakes up with good nutrition, has a cup of tea, maybe plans, maybe meditates for half an hour, maybe get grounded, maybe prepares the day, gets into the car, listens to personal development, listens to beautiful music because it makes you feel good, gets to the office, smiles, good morning, energy, productive, completely different to the person. So two people doing exactly the same job. Can you see how the effects on what they put in their mouth and what they put in their brain, night and day? Same people, same job, two different outcomes. That's where the toxic, unfortunately, just
It's a spiral.
dwells there, and it's just.
It's like a fog. It's like a fog. It just hangs in there.
It's very difficult,
Yeah.
and in the next 50, 100 years, corporate will fall away, and you'll see more and more business owners, self-entrepreneurs. That's where it's going. People taking charge of their life, taking charge of their health, taking charge of the person they want to become. So that's where it's going. You need to become a better person inside and out.
Okay, so you touched on the subject that people will be self-employed. A lot of them are working from home. How difficult is it when you're working from home and you're going to take care of yourself? Because now you've got no one to talk to. It's easy to get the fridge. Maybe you've had a bad day. All of a sudden, you're by yourself. How difficult is it, and how does it affect mental health? Or does it affect mental health? Working by yourself, you must make the decisions. You must create the outcomes now. The responsibility is yours and yours alone.
Yeah, it's since COVID, there's been a big shift. That's why mental health has increased big time, because people are isolated. They're not meeting their colleagues at work. They're not having the coffee break. They're not talking. They're not hugging. They're not smiling. The interaction has fallen away. So now they're working from home, but now actually working more than they did when they were at the office. Because now there's no tea time, there's no coffee break, but there's the kitchen just around the corner. So if your kitchen is stocked up with things that are not healthy,
all the wrong things.
Exactly. So my business increased exponentially during COVID because people wanted community. They don't want to be isolated, so I created the community. People wanted to be healthier, not because they were gaining weight by the day, because they were sitting in the chair for the whole day, no movement.
And it's a snack
They
here,
weren't going-
and it's a snack there.
So they're overeating, and then they're working even more than before, and then the kids still want the homework done, and this and that. So people, that's why for me the biggest thing is the community. People are more isolated than ever before right now. A lot of people are still working from home, and it's not gonna change. It's gonna continue. So you need to create an environment where, for example, with me, I work from home. I love working from home, but I've got routine. A certain time I have my shake. A certain time I have my protein snack. A certain time I walk outside my garden before my next Zoom meeting. When I get a chance, what am I listening to? Motivation, inspiration. I'm accountable. I'm disciplined. I go for my walk. So I'm back and go to nature. So you get out of the office. So you gotta create that environment to succeed. And how do people do it by themselves? When they create the community. So my community is online. So I've got people all over the world. They're on this community. So no matter where they are, they're never alone. And then they're accountable to me and to themselves. When they show me what they're eating, I'll say, Zeca, that meal, it's not the right meal. It's too much. Why did you eat so much for that dinner? Because then I know their day was completely messed up. So if they're doing it in a group and they feel good and they're motivated and congratulated, people do more for recognition than anything else.
Yeah.
If you recognize, Zeca, so proud of where you've come. Look at you now. People do that and then they want to stay there. They want to stay there.
You touched on the topic where you work at home, and when you decide you want to go for a walk, you go for a walk, and I think that's the right thing, by the way, because it's the sunshine, you walk, and I know you live in a nice area, there's lots of trees, you listen to the birds, you're in touch with nature. In the corporate world, if you try and do that, they're going to reprimand you. Like, where are you going, Tony? No, my friend. You're here to work. You're not here to go take a walk now, a 5-minute walk in nature and walk around the block here because it's good for your health. We're not worried about your health here. Yeah, you got to work. How do you change their mindset in the corporate mentality? Because I know it's a I worked in the corporate mentality. I know.
You know, there are companies out there.
But I'm generalizing,
yeah,
honestly.
but there are companies that are thinking differently, and their productivity and their bottom line is like out of the charts. They're looking after their staff, and by looking after the staff, their health. Because I say to a business owner, if your staff are healthy, and if they're not going to be sick, they're not going to be off work, and if they're in a positive place, their productivity is higher. And if they belong to the purpose of the company, where the company...
Shared values, technically.
Yes. So what do we as a company want to achieve? If everybody is bought into this mission and we look after them with their petrol in their tank, then I promise you it's like night and day, where companies will say, listen, Fridays, a lot of companies...
Close at 1 now.
And they have a braai and they do their socials. There are companies now that are giving people an hour to go work out. They're giving them out, and it's not their lunch, because they know if this person is healthier, is more productive. And because I've created this environment that other companies don't have, he's not going to leave me. And they create this culture of team, of purpose, of let's all achieve these goals. So if you start helping your staff be healthier, contribute to their nutrition, sponsor in the beginning, get them until they get going, I promise you it's like night and day, because then now you're empowering your people to be the best version of themselves. Why would they leave your company when they feel valued, they feel amazing, they're healthier, now they've impacted their health to their families, you've made a difference not just to their salary, to their lives. Why would they leave you? They won't leave you.
So staff retention is
and your best managers are the people that are loyal to the mission. They don't leave. So you, instead of going and outsourcing, you building this amazing business through people that want to be there, they want to contribute, because you impacted not just their mindset, their belief system, but you gave them a room, a place to evolve, to become better, the exercise, the yoga, the meditation, to be grounded, to connect. It's huge.
Meditation is a word that is becoming more prevalent now. And the more I get involved in this environment of mental wellness and mental health and all these things, meditation comes up every single time. How important is meditation and why?
You know what meditation...
What does meditation do?
You know, like my wife is very big into meditation, right? I'm not big into meditation, but it's all about quieting your mind. We've got so much things going on here all day long. Your mind works it's so much. It's about quieting your mind.
And how do you do that?
It's about finding a quiet place. Just breathe in, breathe out, keep still, and start taking, I'm breathing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Slowly to get into a place of you're not thinking about everything else, you're just thinking about one thing. And then if you quiet your mind, you'll be able to start being more
connected with yourself.
Listen, when you're connected with yourself and you know what you want and you know where you're going and you know how you're feeling and you know how to overcome feelings, because we all feel things, right, all the time. How do we overcome tragedy? How do we overcome stress? How do we overcome toxic? It's all about connection, like breathing. Breathing is a big thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, learn how to breathe. We breathe, but no, learn how to breathe. Like to breathe when you're stressed. Breathe. There's a lot of techniques. So there's a universe. So you talk about it all the time. There's a universe online for free that we can tap into, and fun about that. Let me try that. Let me just work on yourself, because you are the only thing that matters. You're here today and you're gone tomorrow.
Tony, how important is it to disconnect from work every day when you leave? And I was reading an article the other day that, and this is what I'm going to say is crazy, obviously, but that if you're leaving at 5, you should start disconnecting at about 4:45. You should be winding down. Okay? When you leave your work, you leave your work at work. You don't bring the work's challenges, the problems. You don't bring that. You leave and you go home, and you need to be in a new space. How important is it to do that?
Oh.
And especially over the weekend. It's Friday today. And a lot of people have left. They're already at home. It's now 6:30. Some people are still thinking about maybe on Monday I need to start doing certain things. That's not healthy for them either.
No, listen, it's never healthy. Again, back to balance. If you take your work home, I mean, my kids are now adults, but imagine going home and you're taking your work with you, even if you're not taking you, and your kid wants to just share or for you to play with him, okay? Those moments are gone. You get him and then they're gone, You're connecting with your family or you're not connecting. And unfortunately, when people don't have the balance, they bring the work home. If they had a bad day, the family gets the bad day. Okay, so if you're having a disconnection with the family, and that's why unfortunately there's so many divorces that people move away, don't love the person that they got married to anymore because they've gone different paths. So you got to find a way to connect with your family. One thing I want to work on, which I haven't done for a long time, is have like a date night. A date night with my wife. Getting home and switching off. I mean, because I'm so driven with my business, I can 24 hours. I'm like so driven. But I understand, for example, the phone. We're all on our phones. Go to a restaurant, Zeca.
I leave my phone in the car.
And it's actually sad because the phone is there. You here, I'm here, and people are sending a message from here to you, you to me, and we're taking photos and selfies, and people are so disconnected. There's no bonding anymore. There's no playing games anymore. Remember the family games, Monopoly, all these little things are so things to build this culture in families, to build a strong family foundation, to have that love in the families, and that's gone.
It's interesting you say that because one of the things I read through the other day was that if you are in a good space with your family, and family doesn't mean your kids only, by the way, it means family, it minimizes the stress level and it impacts it in a more positive way than if you're not. It's amazing. So I know a lot of parents complain, I don't speak to my son, I don't talk to my daughter. Those are negatives in your life, and that affects you, like it or not. You need to make an effort to get on with your kids and your family and so on, and everyone has a role to play to minimize the stress, because it's now proven statistically that family, if you're not getting on with your family, it's a major contributor to mental health.
And unfortunately, mental health right now, it's a silent killer. So you don't know that sometimes you're going through it yourself. But there are people that know they're going through it themselves, but they don't have they operate in fear. If I talk to someone about it, I'm weak. Something wrong with me. Because of all the dynamics that's been created. So the whole thing about positive environment, community, family, love, help other people. If you operate in high vibrations, contribute, the universe has got your back. The universe will give you back when you operate like that. It starts in the family. You see it all the time. Families that have breakdowns, it was what was created in the family. People that became alcoholics because their parents were alcoholics. People that became divorced families because they were divorced families. So everything happens and starts and ends in families.
It's interesting you say that because I was talking to a friend of mine. I haven't met her for the last 30 years. They moved down to the West End. I'm in the East End. And I was talking to her and she was saying, I asked her about how's the kids doing, and she says, my daughter, she's 27 now. But I said, well, okay, nice. And how's it going? Married, not married? I mean, you don't have to be married. I mean, I think society just created this. She says, no, she doesn't want to get married because of the dysfunctional marriage that my husband and I had. I said, wow. So the kids look at these things. It's interesting that they saw my parents don't get on well. I don't want this type of life, so I'm not getting married. So as adults, sometimes we actually forget the impact we have on someone else, negatively or positively.
Always. We always have an effect. The language, the things you say sometimes without being, because you're stressed. How many times have I told you this? Or you stupid or what? How many times must I tell you this? Now you're saying that because you're upset at work.
And you couldn't take it out on that person, so you couldn't take it out.
So now it's ingrained in them that they're stupid. Okay? 20, 30 years later, I'm stupid. It's ingrained, subconscious level. So everything we say, positive and negative, has an influence, especially in our family, especially in our kids, because they look at us as role models or not. Oh my word, I don't want to be like that. But then they blame it on the parents because it's culture. No, everything is you in control of your destiny. Everything. What you put in here and what you put in here. Everything. You in control. Always. And we say, but Tony, this happened to me. No, it happened to you because of your belief system. Maybe you didn't love yourself. Maybe you didn't work on changing your job because you hated your job. But toxic, when people say, I hate my job, hate is a negative word. So if you hate your job, you're going to a negative environment. You're going to become like that. So I have a saying, if you're not happy, move. You're not a tree. Move. But people don't move because they have fear. They're operating fear all the time. They're worried. They're stressed. They're scared. I'm not going to get a job. I got this job. Listen, you need to work on yourself, because once you work on yourself, you're in power of everything. You gain back the power in everything, in what you create, in what you attract, who you become, how healthy you are. Everything starts and ends with you. We always do this. How many fingers are pointing back? Always. It always starts and ends with us. So when I'm angry and upset, I always ask Tony, an internal conversation. Tony, what have you got to learn from this? I know you're upset. Relax. Don't say anything you're gonna regret. Just keep quiet. Think about it. What is the lesson? I promise you there's always a lesson. And if you go that route, everything that's negative, it becomes a positive because I learn from it. It's a big, big thing.
So, adding on to that, how important is gratitude in life?
It's everything. It's one of the pillars of life. I'll give an example. Sometimes I'm not grateful for the car that I have. How about being grateful for the water we are drinking right now? There are people out there that to drink water, they have to walk 5-10 k's to get water. Okay? We can get home and switch on and shower. Water, running. Grateful for just water. Grateful for a warm bed to sleep in. How many people are not sleeping on a bed?
But how does gratitude impact you positively in your well-being? Does it or not?
Big time. Because when you're grateful for the small things, you appreciate the big things. You're more alert, you're more aware, you appreciate everything more. You're in a positive vibration, So when you practice gratitude, something that people can do. Start doing a gratitude list, journal, and every day being grateful for 3 things. It's going to be difficult after a while, because then when you're doing it for long enough, then you can be grateful for the small things that you take for granted, that you're not seeing, but they're there in front of you. Grateful that I get a hug from my kids. How many parents have their kids in other countries? They don't get that hug. There's small little things, and it becomes a natural thing. And when you're grateful for everything, you appreciate everything around you, and you don't take anything for granted, and everything's much more valuable. Everything.
Do you think not being grateful creates resentment?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When you are not operating in that, you're not grateful for anything. It's all about the other person. It's never your fault. It's always about pointing fingers.
Sorry, I want to add resentment and anger. Anger. Do you think not being grateful creates those two, which is two negatives? It's energy drainers. So grateful is key.
That's key. It's like one of those things that really helps people to get out of the negative to a positive, like this. And I'll give you an example. When I used to work for corporate, I used to get in the car. I mentioned it. I'm driving and I get upset with the taxi and I'm angry and I'm upset. Okay, the minute I realized, oh my word, okay, this guy affected my whole day. So then I changed, right? And I was aware of it. Okay, oh my word, change. It's gone. Why? Because I'm listening to positive things. But if you entertained by someone sitting next to you that's negative, or family, or what you're listening to, or what you're seeing on social media, you become like that. It just becomes a natural. So it's one of your superpowers when you can be grateful. It takes you immediately from the negative space into the positive immediately. And the way I did it, I learned it many years ago. What is something that you think about that immediately when you think of that, you feel so happy? So for me, when I'm upset, I think of when my children were born and I held them as a dad in my arms. It was the happiest moment in my life. I can feel it right now. So that feeling, I get that feeling immediately. So I can change from really upset. Okay, you're upset now, change. Think of something positive. That triggers amazing.
Dopamine, eh?
Wow, it's
boom.
like boom,
It's a
immediately.
boost.
Now I've just changed my state in seconds, like immediately. Now I appreciate my family, I appreciate my daughters, they're all grown up. I appreciate everything that's consequence of that. I changed from there to there, like this.
Now you spoke about happiness. Is happiness something that people can aspire to? Is it a state of mind? What is happiness? Because people go, oh, I'm happy or I'm unhappy. What makes people happy and unhappy? And why? What's the difference between them?
I think when someone says, I'm unhappy, they're chasing the wrong things to think for happy. So for a lot of people, if I've got the beautiful house, the beautiful car, I earn lots of money, I travel, I'm happy. There are people that are millionaires, billionaires, they're very unhappy.
No,
Okay?
I
There are
agree.
people that commit suicide and they're billionaires.
Yes.
So they were chasing happiness in
Materialistic
things. And you can have someone very poor, but they got such a strong connection with their family. They hug their kids when they go to school and they love their family. Who's happier? The guy who's got the fancy car, or the person that's just hugged his kids and the kids come home and they can't wait to hug dad when he gets home and they love him, and when they see dad made an effort to be at the concert, who's happier? So happiness is something that you chase. Let me be happy. What makes Tony happy?
Internally.
You can't help create happiness if the environment is. So you got to change it. So, and how do you change it? You start. You can't change. You got to start. So what makes me happy? For me, Zeca, what makes me happy is when I help someone get healthier. When I help someone and I've impacted their life, that gives me happiness. So it's not financial. It's not materialistic things. I've made an impact in someone's life. So my mission is to impact the world, make people be healthier, better people that love themselves, that love their community, that love their families, and contribute in a positive way.
It's interesting you say that, because on Wednesday night I did a coaching session to some youngsters. And I said, we live in an environment, unfortunately, where everything is want. It's you must do for me. That's the mentality we have in South Africa, unfortunately, and I think worldwide at the moment. But South Africa, because we know the culture here. Okay, it's all about what can you do for me. It's just want, take. And I said to them that because the club was going out of their way to help them, but as footballers, they weren't doing what they should be doing. They weren't taking the responsibility to do what they should be doing. They just wanted. They wanted tracksuits. They wanted kits. They wanted a meal. They just want. And I said to them, guys, stop. You need to start giving. Learn the concept of giving. The more you give, the more you receive. And I think people don't realize that we need to start giving more of ourselves, more to society, more towards the universe in whatever we do. Give more, ask for less.
The universe has got your back. It's the law. It's the law of the universe. The more you give without expecting anything in return. So go and genuinely help people, make a difference, make them look at things differently. when they're in a bad place, just be a good listener. Just be people sometimes they just need someone to talk to. They're isolated, they're lost. Sometimes just by connecting that bridge and be a good listener, find out where they are, where they want to go, be a good friend, be a good listener, because we've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, so we should listen more, talk less. And once we do that, we get to really make a difference. And the whole thing about I want this, it's all about personal. So it's about, that's why I like to empower people, because when they start thinking differently, they don't start doing that anymore. It's not victim mentality anymore. It's okay, I'm contributing to this. I need to make it better because it all starts with me. So if people take ownership of me, how can I become better? So for my wife, for my kids, for my boss, for community. Imagine if we all do this. Everyone's on survival mode at the moment. It's about pointing fingers in this. Just love the person in the mirror. I promise you, it's a big mission. Love that person.
I read an article the other day because I like to be in touch with what happens worldwide and what happens with different communities, how different countries impact themselves in a positive environment. And there was a town in Germany that the community, everyone had fruit trees, everyone had whatever it was, and the access, they used to put it in a plastic bag outside on the wall. And people were free to take whatever they wanted. So they would walk past, and if there were apples, they'll take 2 apples. They didn't take the bag. In South Africa, I think we would take the bag. Okay, they took 2 apples because that's what they wanted. And then they walked down the road, and this other guy would have lemons hanging on the wall, on the plastic bag. And the people would go and they'll take lemons. And the article was about, they feel a sense of contributing to a better society when they gave. So the access they gave, they didn't throw it away. They didn't wait for it to rot either. They gave it away to people who might want it. And it was quite interesting that I found this concept that people gave from themselves instead of rotting. They just gave it away to people. It's such a, and we talk about in South Africa. We've got a lovely word which we've moved away from, which is called Ubuntu. We used to have that.
You are because you are.
We used to have that, and now it's lost. It's interesting that we need to start going back to the basics of humanity, and then maybe our wellness will improve as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it all boils down to education. People perceive things to be a certain way, and they need to be seeing this glass instead of being half empty, being half full. How do we do that? It's about education and showing them the big picture, the person they can become by changing this and this and this, and not operating in fear, because a lot of times people operating in fear, they're not thinking. It's fear. I need to get those apples because I need to feed my family.
Or I might not get another one.
Or I might not get another one.
Yeah.
It's like scarcity.
Yeah.
It's all mentality. So actually, the thing about scarcity, when we don't have, I need to have it. But how's this? We've got everything in the world. Says Tony, but I don't have the money. I need the money. Yes, you create the money by the person you become. Like there's abundance in everything. I mean, you go to your garden, sand. How many grains of sand? It's abundant. How much water in the sea? It's abundant. It's ever-ending. It's in everything. So out there, it's abundant.
The only thing that's not abundant is love and care.
It's
scary,
and it goes down to.
And
to
we have the power to do it.
Yes.
Love and care.
But it takes work, Zeca. It takes work. You see, so nothing falls from the sky. You need to work on yourself, and it's more difficult to love yourself because you need to tackle things that you don't like about you, and you can only face them when you have the courage to face them. Okay, I'm not a good person. Why? You need to ask the questions.
Reflect.
It's very powerful, and people don't do it because it's very painful. It's a painful experience. It's not everybody does it. They don't because it's painful. I'd rather not do it because I don't want to go to the past and think about this that happened to me. They don't want to deal with it. So if you don't deal it, you store it. It doesn't go away. Vet. It's there forever. You need to deal with it. Become the better person that you are.
Do you think that the ego gets in people's way sometimes? The egos?
Ego is it's a sickness. ego is a sickness. And the whole thing about ego is trying to fill my ego. So if I'm special, if I'm great, and everybody says Tony's great, my ego is great. Okay? How do I perceive myself to those people? So for me, especially in my industry, and I'm one of the top leaders in the company, and I see people that have got ego. They've reached this level, and how do they treat people? They're not the same people anymore. Ego, because they feel important. For me, I've always been the same guy. No matter where I are, I'm going to always be the same person and treat the person. I remember my dad used to say to me, my son, always treat people like you want to be treated, but actually better. Always treat people. God gave us all, you got to look after people. Always treat people well, always be a good person. And especially now with where I am, always be the same guy, be humble. Because if you're humble, you can't be egotistic. If you think about other people first.
That's consideration. I was going to go that route. How important is consideration? Now we're talking wellness, because this is a package. We're not talking just nutrition. We're talking wellness, because if you feel good about yourself and you're helping other people grow and you're giving more of yourself, mentally, you're in a good space. So mental wellness is you in the right space.
And such a good feeling in your heart.
Yes. How important is being considerate in society? And at work, wherever we are, how important is considerate or consideration?
Do you know why people aren't considerate? A lot of people don't listen. They don't listen to what's happening around them. Consideration.
Or they don't care.
It's all about me.
It's all about me, yeah.
So if we take this thing, it's not about me. If I'm in a good place, I can get other people to be in a good place. It's not about me. It's about helping other people. It's always about. It's a reflection. And consideration is, if you're thinking about other people, you're always going to have consideration. You're always going to consider people. You're always going to think, I'll give an example. An old lady, right, struggling to walk across the street. I'm considerate to her, because one day I'm going to be old and I'd like someone to help me to walk across the road. Consideration. So when you take it out of you, it's not about you anymore. So if you love the person you are and you want to help people, it's never about you. So if it's not about you, consideration always takes place. But if it's about you, consideration doesn't exist.
I agree with you, because I'm very much into being considerate and the power of being considerate, because you think about the other person first. And when you think about the other person first, you think about what you say, how you behave, and how you act. And that creates a positive environment, especially in a working environment. Now, it was mental health month in October, but I think it should be mental health month every day, because there's no point just discussing it in October and we've got to wait for the next year, 12 months, to discuss it again. It should be part of our daily lives, and we should think about everyone else. We should think about the other person first before we think about ourselves. Now, I go back to the corporate mentality, corporate world. It doesn't happen, because it's dog eats dog, and everyone's working there to get to the next level as quickly as possible, by the way. And maybe try and nail your colleague so that you can move on. That is a problem in society, because that creates mental health, because it's stress every single day. So
yeah, it creates it. And sorry to interrupt you, Zeca, and it's there all the time. You can't get away with it until you start looking from the side and look at your movie, your life, for a different lens. You got to look at it. Otherwise, it just continues happening. It's a vicious circle, like the mouse running on the. It just doesn't change
on that wheel.
On the wheel, until it comes to, for people to do the change. Unfortunately, drastic things happen. They get fired. They lose a family member. They get a health scare. They get a heart attack. Big things have to happen for people to make that shift, for a lot of people, unfortunately, and that's sad.
Yeah, and just to sum up, because I think we're a minute and a half away from the end of the program. I'm always very curious looking at the company values. I always look at the company values. They spend millions and thousands of rands, publicity, marketing, advertising, and all that to attract customers. And the most influential people that they have to maintain or retain customers is the employees. And an unhappy employee is a risk. I actually say, I use the word sabotage, normally sabotage everything the company is trying to do to retain the customer. But if the employee is not happy, you're not going to retain customers. The other one is, I look at the values. Most companies have their own values.
The mission statement.
The mission statement. And none of them, I can't remember one company that actually puts there, be considerate. For me, it's probably the most important aspect of humanity. Be considerate. They worry about respect, they worry about trust, they worry about honesty, they worry about all those things, but they don't worry about considerate. And considerate, from a company's perspective, is actually worrying about the customer.
Customer's always right.
Not always right. If he's wrong, he's wrong.
But that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. No, I also don't agree with that statement. The customer, if he's wrong, he's wrong. However, as a company, we need to start being considerate, and the companies don't do that.
Because they're not helping their staff love themselves. So if I had a company, my focus would empower my people to be the best version of themselves, because then everything will take care of the rest. And the mission statement that they believed in for them, not for me, it's not a company statement. They believed that their purpose was to take it to the next level. I promise you, it's a beautiful place, but I'm not in corporate, thank goodness. I work for myself. So,
Tony, we've come to the end of the program. It was great. I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to be engaging, and there was a lot of good things to take from our chat, as always happens. So thank you. We've come to the end of the program. It's Friday night. I'm not sure what you're planning for tonight, but it's Friday night. I know I'm going to unwind. I'm looking forward to the rugby game tomorrow. South Africa plays against England. That's always a feisty one for me. I just hope that we club them again, like we did with the Scots.
No, they'll do it.
They'll do it.
They're awesome.
I see there's been some changes, and good changes as well. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor to exchange ideas and thoughts and things. So thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
it's been
Tony.
an honor.
Thank you. Well, we've come to the end of the program. It's Friday night, and today I'm going to change it slightly. Instead of saying character matters, I'm going to say be considerate. Whatever you do, always be considerate. Good night.